G'day patrons, and let me just straighten that a bit. Is that better? Last video, computers. Not to everyone's cup of tea, I suppose, but something I find very easy to do when I'm stressed. I'm very stressed about work. I can't see myself staying there all that much longer. It's a very difficult industry to work in. In saying that, though, in 17 years at that school, I can count on one hand how much trouble I've had with kids, but not with staff. And it's at the point now where I've had the last week off. Now, okay, let me start. The Sigma, I've done quite a lot of work on the Sigma, but I can't release videos. I did the computer one, and then thought, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that because you shouldn't be off work and releasing YouTube videos because it looks bad. What the issue is, or what I find is, by doing this stuff and tinkering with something that doesn't work is a great way to get my mind off things that are worrying me, and I find it very relaxing. And that's the same with the car, although now we've just got winter around the corner, which is in the next 2 days' time, and it's kind of hard to go out there and lie down when it's 10 degrees outside and raining. So, I shouldn't be releasing videos while I've been off at work because they'll be saying he's having fun, and I'm not having fun. I'm just trying to get my mind off things. But I will release this part of the Sigma one to you now, and I'll release it on the channel later on in a week or whatever it's going to be. I just wanted to touch base and just say, look, thanks very much for your help, and I'm still here. So the video's not finished. I think there's 27 minutes on the Sigma, and so I'll show you that. And when I'm finished it, well, then I'll put the title or the credits on and all that sort of stuff and finish it off and release it to the channel as a public thing. The truth is, in doing this has afforded me through you and through also YouTube ad revenue. It gives me lovely pocket money, but it's not enough to live on. So I would love to do this sort of thing full time, but I can't. So I'm not really sure at this stage what to do. It's just something I have to work out, I guess. So in this one, we've got all the brakes finished on the car. I've just got the console inside now. I'm cleaning that up. That's almost ready to go back in. And the suspension, I've taken the rear suspension all apart, and I've got some of the bushes here. Some of them are on their way, so it's not going to be far before I put the suspension back in, patch the exhaust up, throw the fuel tank in, and it's pretty much finished. I haven't done the wheels yet because that's a horrible job, and they're not looking like I hope they'd look, and I don't want to spend money on polishing them and that sort of stuff because the car's not really about that. It was supposed to be something a bit cheaper. But that being said, it's still, I've got the tyres, I've got everything ready to go with it. Let me know what you think might be good in terms of viewing for stuff you'd like to see. Stuff that's a bit cheaper than car resto, if you know what I mean, and motorcycles. I still have to finish these ones, but there's a lot of people doing much smaller projects, more cost effective, that sort of stuff. If there's anything that you would like to see, I'd like to know because I'll do it. As far as what else was I going to say? The computers are concerned, I just released that one because I have a whole lot of computer stuff here, which I've not done anything on the channel with. There's one more that I can see doing, and that's a Win95 machine with just some old DOS games and stuff like that. I've got most of the equipment here. Some guy offered me a case, which would be nice. There's a few things like that I can get hold of. It is very cheap to do, but you don't get that viewing. There's nothing really as unique about it as doing a car or a motorcycle or full restoration, because that stuff is really, it's hard for a lot of people to do. I've kind of maxed myself in room as far as room's concerned. Mum's had another car accident and she's broken 4 toes or something. I don't know how she did it because it was a very low speed thing into a fence, so I'm dealing with that at the moment as well. That's going to be it for driving for her. So there's a few things going on, but one part of me is actually really happy that I'm thinking about taking a change in direction. It's something I think I need to do. But anyway, look, let me know what you want. There'll be this one on the Sigma, which I'm doing now, which I'll show you now, and there'll be one more on the computer. I might do a completion video on the Sigma and then just do I might do one more on the Sigma because to finish it off there's probably in a video in just finishing it off after this one, because I spent a bit of time on the brakes and that sort of stuff, and then I might just do a short one when it's finished. So once it's on the road, we can take it for a drive and that sort of stuff. So there might just be a short video in that, and I'm just trying to pace it. In 4 weeks' time, or probably 4 weeks' time on school holidays, that's when I'm going to get the roadworthy done. So that means, every 2 weeks there'll be one, and then there'll be the holiday one. In the meantime, I can do a computer one, which might not interest as many people. I've had some pretty good feedback with that. And some people have said, why would you bother? Because you can get a very cheap P3 machine for $50, and it's true. It is true. But it's just something to play with. So anyway, look, I hope you enjoy, and let me know what you reckon. I guess better start putting these on. Don't remember how they go. It goes through there. Well, hang on a minute. Got that grease on me. Goes that way. Okay. They go through there. So I've got to clean the stuff, the anti-rust stuff off the disc. So I'll just start those 2 bolts. We can tighten them up. Let's see how that one goes in here. A bit of thinners here, and I'm just going over the disc to wipe off any of that protective greasy stuff, anti-corrosive stuff. And I think we're pretty much out of the woods. That should do it, I think. Right. And we'll just use a little bit of grease on the contact areas. And these pads will just sit in like that. And normally you just lift the caliper out of the way to do the pads, but given this is the first time we're putting them in, I'll just put a bit of Loctite around these bolts, and they will sit over like that. Where is the thread? Yes, we have it now. And that will, I'm going to push that slide in, that will push in, and then we just tighten him up with a 15 and a 17mm. Lock him off with a 17. I need a thinner one actually because it's interfering with that rubber boot. And we just get a little copper washer and screw this in. Oh, Struth, get in there. Here we go. There we go. And nip him up with a 16. Flare nut spanner's better for this sort of thing. I wonder if I can fit, I can't even fit the ring spanner over there, can I? No, I can't. Oops, the wrong way. There we go. That'll do it. Right, and then that hose there comes through here. And then we just knock that guy in. Hang on a sec, you can come off. And then I'll undo these because these are just sitting here. There we go. And this hose I put on last. And I just want to tighten it up here first. Take that tape off. And that will go in there. And it's all pretty self-explanatory. It's all pretty good. Tighten that up and that'll reach up there and we're out of it. It looks odd like that, but that's actually the way it's supposed to be. See up here, but I'm just tightening that up. Don't have to overdo it. That should be it. So we'll do a lock-to-lock test and see how she goes. In terms of the line stretching, that's full lock. It all looks good. And that's full lock. And that looks fine. Good. So we can call that done. We'll bring it around here. Do the other side. Right, Saturday, and we're back on this jalopy. I did that brake line down there and blew out the brake lines. because there was some crud in there, old fluid, but they're clear, which is good, really, really clear. And at the same time, we've sort of blown compressed air back there into that rag as well. So the rear brake lines are clear. I don't want any old fluid or anything being pumped through and into the new wheel cylinders. So I'm just bang a new wheel cylinder on, like that. Left the other side together so I can just, as a map, because I didn't take any notice when I pulled this apart how it all went together. So I'll tighten these up. Forward shoe with a leading edge. We've got a roll pin in there. It's proud on the back about a bit over an eighth of an inch, probably 4mm. I'm just going to take it out. Knock that out and use a penny punch. And then that will go in this side. And I can see the depth of where it was. That goes in there. So let's bang him in. I'll do it on the carpet because it's new. I don't know, it's pretty darn good. Maybe a bit more. That'll do. So that is going to go on. Right, so I've got the adjuster there, sitting in here. Small dab of grease there on the contact area is not a bad idea. And we can just get this. I got this tool years ago for putting these little guys on. Most people just use pliers. Which way is that pointing? It's pointing horizontally. So we just bang that over and push the pin through if I can see where the hell it is. Oh, there we go. Something like that. I'll trap my glove. There we go. Is that right? I think that's better there. Cool. Alright. On this side, just hook that blue spring. On the other one, just pulled it over to get over the bottom of that stay, and then just drop that guy on. And that has to poke through as well. And the last thing I've got to do, actually I might adjust that thing back. The adjuster, I did it before. Hang on, is that going? No, that's the wrong way. Gotta go that way. Yeah, just got to bring that in. Just because it's all shiny and new. Oh, hang on, is that right? I think it is. Doesn't look like it's sitting right though. That should be sitting further out, shouldn't it? Maybe when I put this spring on, things might tighten up, hey? I think that goes in there, and then I just grab the sidey cutters, and we've got to get right up into that. And this can be quite stiff, quite difficult to do. Which, no doubt it will be. Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. I might have to do it from up here. Okay. There we go. Oh, that is dandy. That's sitting where it should be. Right, so that's good. That's all good. Just centralise them a bit. How does that look to you guys? I think it's alright. Right. Hopefully this fits. And then we can just sort of adjust it. These haven't got a slot in the back for adjusting the brakes, so you've got to kind of do it like that. There's no actual aperture. Bit of a pain, but doing drum brakes is a bit of a pain too, hey? Now that could be too much. That would be also, oh no, that might be right on. Nope, big one. Anyway, I'm just going to keep adjusting it until I get it right. Using up all the stuff in the boot, there's nothing much left. A water bottle, some bushes, some nuts. I think there's 4 of them. I need to get 20. A bolt. I can't remember where that goes. That one. Just really odds and ends. That's a grommet for the engine bay main wiring loom. I've got to put back in, and the thing for the fuel filler. Just banging ahead with this. Got the parcel tray thing on. Up here the hoses are in. Can you see it? Yes, you can. The 2 hoses there. That is all looking super neat and doing what it's supposed to do. I'll take this bracket off and fit the radio in next, I think, and that will sort of look a lot sort of more finished off, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to just pop these out of here. Oh, hang on a sec. And shut the door. Oh, look at that bird. Right. Oh dear. That's not a good look. That's much better. Alright. Started doing these heater hoses. Not happy with it. I'm going to have to get a reducer. I'm hoping I can get a right angle one because I can't get these hoses. And of course I've got to get a joiner for down there so I can just sort of join those two 5/8 ones like that. Oh, it's gone out of focus. Can you come back? Come on, focus. What are you doing? Yeah, so we can just join those down there. It's less than ideal, but look, what do you do? Just got to put the engine earth or the battery cables in, and once those hoses are joined, I can fill the thing with coolant. Brakes are all sorted. I've just got to bleed them. Lovely blue fluid, which matches the car nicely. This does seem to be off against the shock tower a little bit, more than what the original was. I'm not sure why. And of course that grommet we were talking about goes up in there. And that loom comes out. Just can't remember what that does. Yeah, we'll sort it out. And of course, the other thing is just connecting up these wires. Distributor, I replaced that, looks terrible. That would be for the temp sensor over here. That was probably one of the reasons the other temperature gauge didn't work. Oh God, look at them. Those things are such a ruddy nuisance. I'll show you what they do. Here, come with me. Susie's car has a sunroof and they have drains in them. This is what those buggers do. They chew up these things and they release all this sort of cotton wool stuff and it blocks your car up. I did the lawn yesterday and cleaned up as much as I could. And also along here, this was squeaky yesterday. But look at it. It's just awful stuff. And it's those bloody birds, the corral things. Last year the council had a program and they put a little sort of like an injection for a tree to stop them producing those berry things, but it didn't work. I took this old thing up to Upper Gully with my daughter today. It's such a superb car on the open road. It's lovely. Right. Sigma center console, and at first glance it looks to be pretty revolting and a bit yuck, all that sort of stuff, which means the same thing. But really it's in outstanding condition. We've got the boot that's come away there, but that's just sitting on a framework, so some glue has come adrift, or caused it to come adrift. We've got a couple of very small holes there, but I don't think they're worth doing anything with. I think this is just basically just a cleaner. I don't want to paint it. If it was to be painted, there are embossed sections here which carry silver paint. You can see the remnants of it there. But I don't think it's worth going through that whole rigmarole of trying to paint this, battling fish eyes, and all this sort of business for the sake of it. I think it's just best to clean what's there. The good thing about this, if I look him around, is this just all comes out. So I can take this bracket off here, or this strengthening rib off here. I wish the Fords had something like that. That's a really good design feature. And also underneath where the handbrake curtain is, that's just all removable. So I take those off and start to think about cleaning that. It's good that it's even still got this bit here, which is the sort of thing that covers up the screws. So it's really, really good. I'm very happy with this. So I think we'll just pop that boot out there. So it looks like one of the posts is broken, so I might have to think about a longer fastener in there. We'll just see what it looks like when I take this off, which is right now. Yes, we have. We've got a problem there. I'll have to think about that. Oh, it's got two broken posts. It's got that one there too. That's unfortunate. Anyway, cross that bridge, as they say. And this one here, probably much of the same sort of thing. This one actually looks to be a bit better, but it'll just make cleaning so much easier. I might actually submerge these things in the laundry trough, and that way we can really sort of clean them up well. So there's that. So whenever I bleed the brakes, I always start with the furthest point from the master cylinder, which would traditionally be the left-hand rear. But this left-hand rear, whoops, on this car, is piggybacked onto the right-hand rear, so you can only bleed it from one point in the rear. Can you just put your foot down, Charlie? So these are completely dry. Oh, there comes already. Up, down, up, down. That's not too bad. A bit of water, a bit of air, sorry. Up, down. Some cars you can just go up and down with leaving the thing open, but being a new bleed, I'm not doing that. Up, down. That's looking pretty good. Up, down. I can hear a bit of air there, but we're getting there. So what I want you to do is up and down on the brake pedal, just pump it up like you know what I mean? Up, down, like that. Bang, 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 bang. Can you do that? Then hold it down. You right? Holding it down? Alright. Pump it up again. Up and down, bang, 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 bang. Hold it down. You got it? These are lovely and clear now. Do it again. Pump it up. Hold it down. Splendid. Up and down again. Bang, bang, bang. Hold it down. I think we've eradicated everything. I'll just give it one more for good luck. Bang, 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 bang. Hold it down. Oh, there's still a tiny bit of air there. Hang on a sec. Pump it up again. Hold it down. Pump it up again. Hold it down. Clear as a whistle. Pump it up again. Hold it down. We're good. I think we're good. Have a rest. So the last thing to do is just to check all the unions for leaks. There's an awful lot of pressure in these. That all looks pretty good. What about this one down here? You just don't want to trace a skerrick of any leak anywhere. And this has quite a few areas where it could. And up here. I think that's all right. There's a bit of residual around the nipple. That can come down. I'll just get my spanner and check that. Let's put the cover on. All good. And let me just try and organise some light. Right, so the next thing we do, we've got the brakes all sorted out, looking good. What we're going to do is get this lower arm off. It's got the spring on it. So we need to jack the car up a bit further, support the body, and I might take the shocks out, lower the axle onto stands, then put the jack underneath that spring base there, lower it, remove the spring and take the arm off. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Shocks off. I just want to lower this and see how far down it comes. And there's a couple of things we've got to keep in mind. The brake line and, oh, here we go. The brake line and the, what do you call it, tail shaft. Those springs look like they're going to be bloody easy to get out, which is terrific. So there's not going to be any tension on that. What I might do is, with that low, I might put a jack under the rear axle. I might crack that one first, take that out, pop a jack under there, and that's going to hold everything beautifully for me while I drop this here and get it off. It looks like it's fairly simple so far. Well, like the other one, the wear is moderate. Can't see that. Check this one out up here. It's absolutely had it. So I have to take that out. Got to film this coming out. Hopefully this doesn't hit the jack stand. Oh, just cleared him. Oh yes. Wow, that's cahooned. That's had it. Alright. Right, grand tour of underneath the back of the Sigma, and it would have been so much more sensible, and I knew this before I did it, to take the rear axle out and bleed up the brakes later. I can still do it, but I don't know, I might just battle it under here. We've got, let me move, this is all loose. Those bushes up there are so stuffed, and I think that's pressed into the rear axle housing. I'm not sure. I'm leaving them there at the moment because I've got the sort of diff housing sitting on a couple of jacks and the car sitting on jacks over there, so it's sort of floating at the moment and it's quite easy to move around. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll redo the lower arms and then I'll put them back in, and then I'll tackle these The arms themselves are quite surprising, really. I'll show you. They look to be identical to start with, so I think the but I'll leave them in the order they're in, if you know what I mean. Now, what's surprising about them is that these bushes here don't seem to be showing any wear. Bushes run at around $70 a pair, but these ones at the front are so knackered. You can actually push the inner out. It'll push out with your fingers. Oh, hang on a sec. But you can see how knackered it is. Now, the problem with these bushes is they're the ones that you leave the outer in, and so the inner is sort of vulcanized. The rubber is vulcanized inside that shell, and that can be a real headache to get out. So I'll put it on a press and see what I can do. This one's no better. It's exactly the same. You can just see there how easily they come out. So they're fried. These ones here I'm going to leave, and these are the ones that I actually ended up buying because I saw them and I didn't get under the back and have a look, but they are not showing signs of too much wear. So I reckon we can leave those two. So we're really, to do the rear end, we've got to do these two here and the 4 on the upper arms. So these two here and the ones on the other side, and then we can call the rear axle done. It appears that these are the same pressing. They're drilled there, but they only go on one way because of the captive nuts that are sort of only on the one side of them, so we can't get that too wrong. Same with that one there, so that's easily identified which side they go on. Right, radio cassette and a very busy bit of retro circuitry. This machine doesn't use belts for the cassette drive. It is geared, so apparently it wasn't working, so it could be a micro switch or whatever when we put a cassette in and the mechanism goes down. I can't see it looking around at the moment, but I will locate it and just contact spray it for now. I'm not going to spend any time on this. It doesn't matter to me if the cassette doesn't work for now. It's very easy to get the unit out, and I can look at it at a later date. Looking at the casing, there's this bracket that's Mitsubishi. There's the radio that's not. I've drilled it, and I'm going to pop rip it from the inside, getting rid of that swarf and so forth, because there's a circuit board along here and one of those sort of fibered papery type insulation panels there. So I need to get rid of those. Whoops! I need to get rid of those bits of swarf, and I'll be back. We're going to pop rivet it from the inside, which would be great about the right size drill. In just a moment. Help a bit of room by just filing off the top of the pop rivet if we need to. This is weird with the camera here because it's in the way. But let's. They're actually the wrong size rivets, but whatever. And that's minimal room. I think that's going to be fine. So I'll just rivet that one and we should be good to go. This should clear alright. This side was damaged anyhow. Just got to get through that bottom bit there, and it's just better than using screws and nuts and stuff, I reckon. I think that should be alright. So we'll put him back. There's ample room between the circuit board and that, so I'm quite confident that it's going to be effective. There's no resistance putting on that sort of thing, so I reckon we'll just screw him up and put it back in the car. Rightio, birds about again. Let's have a look in here. The radio. I'll just turn my light on. There it is there. And that's what I mean by the fit being fairly poor because it's not made for this unit. But in doing that bracket, it's pulled this up. It's pulled that whole thing up. So the glove box doesn't line up. And also I got that chrome strip wrong. I should have been lower. I've got some wrinkles there because I upset all the underlay when I dropped a socket down. So I'm going to have to do something with that. And find where the screw goes. So I might take that shelf out again and just straighten all that out because I'm not happy with it. I have remounted the radio and I've got that level. And that's looking better too. Wired it up, but I haven't wired the speakers because I've got to get around the other side to do that. And move the forward in the process because I want to be able to swing that door wide open. So that's that for now. Oh, the ashtray's wobbling because there's a screw missing from above and there was a speed nut I didn't put in. So that glove box is going to have to come out at some point too. Sigma Surprise. Well, it's like a Kinder Surprise, but it's about bushes, which is just a really bad joke. Those bushes, fine, we went into that. This is how these came out. And I did minimal there was minimal trauma, if you like, involved with removing them. All I did was put a socket in, slightly smaller than that, and just smacked them both out. Or at least press them both out, so they can go in the rubbish. After which, I've just cleaned out the inside. There's still a bit of gunk in there, you can see it in there with an old woodworker's gouge. And they're almost ready to put new bushes in. There's a few more surprises here though. These ones here are knackered. You can see they've delaminated from the inner part there and they're quite loose. That being said, the vulcanizing around the outer is still alive and well. And on this side, of course, they're the ones in the differential housing, which I'll have a look at in a moment. But I've also found a rather lovely custom-made busted sway bar. And, you know, I mean, big deal. I'm not going to put that back on. I'm not even going to try to. By all accounts, that brake, that looks like it was done quite a long time ago. That whole rear end would have been shunting forward and back. With the amount of damage on the bushes, it really would have been a mess. Now the shockers by right should be knackered, but they seem alright. They might knock though, so I might be putting a new set of those in as well. Even though they seem alright, I'll just try them out. The XC is meant to have a sway bar too, and I found one for it and the guy wanted $1 million, so I just thought, stuff it, I'll do without it. These ones here are pressed into the rear axle housing, which is why it would have been so much easier to take the axle out, and I should have. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run a drill bit around the perimeter of it, clean it out with a gouge and leave it at that. Just bang new ones in, because these bushes we're getting use that outer. So hopefully, I want to order them all at the same time. Right. Oh, some of these, I just hit my head. Some of these bushes are conical shaped and it's cast into the housing. This one's been a little bit more problematic, and a lot of mechanics will be inclined to hit them up with a gas axe and burn the rubber out that way. We don't forget we want to keep the outer, because I think the new bushes need that outer. Basically just drilled around it and flicked it out with a screwdriver. That's the inner part there. Hit it with a gouge. Scraped a few bits out of it, just the loose stuff. And all I've done really, hang on a second, I'm just going to take this out. I haven't got a wire brush that fits very well, so I've sort of shoehorn one in from the back, and I'm not in a very good position here, by the way, and basically honed it like that. If you reverse the direction, it comes loose, but it's made it very smooth on the inside. Even though there's still a little bit of rubber, there's a bit more work to do. But that's taken, what, 20 minutes to get it like that? So, look, I'm happy because I reckon a little bit more finessing and I can get that fine for the Nolothane ones to press into. I think they need this out. They have on the front and also on the other parts of the back. But I think that's probably the easiest and most time-effective way of doing it. Just popping these Baileys out. They're all just broken away and hard to the point where they're completely non-functional. I've got the bulk of it out. Just got to dig out these remaining bits and then I'll take the window off its thing and cancer it over so I can get the rest of it out from under here, but it's all just super brittle, completely non-usable. Now, Rare Spares didn't have a listing, but they had a universal one which fitted, and so that's what we're going to go with. This is actually quite normal for a car this age. I want to get a big piece. I want to show you a big piece. Not going to get it. I'm going to have to chip it out bit by bit, I think. On Orthodox here, you can see the busted bits on the Ford, and there's also a ton of them down here. I've disconnected the window, but this channeling seems to fit really, really well. So, I'm just going to pull it down a bit. Hang on a minute. Get it to sit in there. And just see how we go. It does click into that channeling really, really well. I think it's going to be fine. Like, it locks in beautifully. The other stuff I originally tried from the Falcons, which is never going to be any good. So there you go, patrons. Couple of bushes, new ones there for the trailing arms, and some new old stock ones by the look of it. Same sort of thing, they're the urethane ones. We've got all the inner and outer tie rod ends there, and the two outer ones are different, but the two outer ones, are the same, and the others are different. Some 4-inch speakers for the doors. They're just dual cone, very plain Jane things, which is what I wanted. I'm going to need to stagger the mounts on them because the holes were not well done, and so where the original speakers were flogged out, so I can just move them a few degrees to one way or the other and get those in. 2 Bailey channels, the other 2 are in the car already. I fitted them. Did I film that? I don't think. Oh yeah, I better put it in the video. I forgot to put it in the video. There's the boot seal and 20 wheel nuts, and these have a shank on them. Plus they've got a what do you call it? A chamfer on them as well. Most of the time, the ones with the shank have a washer, but I had to buy 20. No, I didn't. I bought 16. Hang on for it. Yeah, there's 16 of them on the car. And then there's just a Matadur's joiner for the heater hose. I don't like the way I've got so many joints in the heater hoses in the engine bay, but what do you do? I couldn't get another of the steel things. And just a couple of bits for door furniture and the ballast resistor. That's just a couple of self-tappers, and I can put the antenna on. Air filter. So there's a couple of bits coming, but generally, there's enough here to finish the car. It's only a couple of small bits now. So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. This is going to be a little bit different to what I released for general viewing, and just bear in mind also that I do jump sort of from one subject to the other because so many things interest me. Anyway, look, thanks very much for watching, and take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.